Calcutta at midnight. The heavy monsoon rain pours over the neon-lit streets, washing away footprints and turning the city into an impenetrable maze. Inside a cramped flat in the Shama Bazar district, Inspector Arjun Sen sits staring at a cold cup of tea. He is a local detective, surrounded by stacks of old case files, exhausted by the daily grind of street-level crime. The quiet breaks when a burner phone rings. On the other end is a dying economist, gasping out a final, cryptic warning. He outlines a targeted attack on the rupee, a deliberate plan to break the market, and points to a specific location, Siliguri. Then the line goes dead. The next morning, the economist is found dead right under the colossal steel structure of the Howrah Bridge. The circumstances rule out a simple mugging. This localized murder is the first visible casualty of a much larger, invisible invasion. To understand the threat, we have to look at the target itself. A synchronized digital strike on a national currency can trigger hyperinflation, wipe out middle-class savings, and halt national trade within hours. Military strategists call this Arthajuddho, an economic war. The combatants wage it entirely without physical infantry, artillery shells, or clearly drawn borders. Because of this, Inspector Sen faces a massive investigative vacuum. He has to trace a sophisticated, multinational conspiracy, using nothing but the specific transmission frequencies and names recovered from that single burner phone. To prevent total financial collapse, the investigation has to leave the city limits. The trail leads far away from civilian infrastructure, straight into some of the most extreme, isolated environments on Earth. The first stop is 17,000 feet above sea level. Here in Ladakh, the air is dangerously thin, and the cutting winds turn the snow into airborne ice. Buried in this brutal terrain is Forward Signal Station 17. Inside, Captain Kabir Rawat sits watching the frozen, blue-lit landscape stretch endlessly outside his window. His military outpost has one crucial function: maintaining and scanning India's critical defense radar and satellite communications networks. But his screens show a massive anomaly. While mountain storms usually create scattered noise, this perfectly geometric void remains static even as the winds shift. It is a surgical gap in coverage that persists through every hardware reboot. This static gap is a deliberate cloaking mechanism. The attackers are using it to create a blind spot in the sky, hiding their digital movements from the Indian military's most advanced detection systems. Now, cross the globe to the exact opposite extreme, the Sahara Desert at night. The environment is bone dry, massive, and entirely desolate. Sitting in this wasteland is the Helios Solar Transmission Lab. From a distance, it looks like an isolated glass island glowing in the dark. Inside, bathed in the glow of her monitors, Dr. Arpita Ghosh is tracking relentless, high-speed streams of technological and energy data. But a closer look at the terminal shows these aren't standard solar research metrics. They are massive, weaponized financial algorithms designed specifically to manipulate and crash global markets. The roles are distinct. While the freezing Himalayas hide the attack from radar, this scorching Sahara facility provides the actual technological firepower needed to execute the economic strike. By matching the frequency signature from the burner phone to the radar drops in Ladakh and data bursts in the Sahara, Inspector Sen connects the nodes. These locations operate as a perfectly synchronized global weapon. The operation triggers first in the desert. The Helios lab generates the corrupted financial data streams, launching the digital payload toward India. At the exact same moment, the compromised station in the Himalayas activates. It broadcasts a signal that creates a temporary blind spot, completely cloaking the incoming data from Indian defense networks. Because the military is blind, the malicious data streams slip right through the airspace and strike the vulnerable market node at Siliguri. The immediate consequence is a catastrophic market crash. The entire Arthajuddho strategy relies on this exact sequence, weaponizing incredibly hostile, disconnected global geographies to execute a perfectly coordinated strike. Inspector Sen started his investigation chasing a localized murder in the wet alleyways of Kolkata. Now he is operating against a faceless shadow empire, threatening to bring down the entire national economy. He is looking directly at the evolution of modern conflict. The battle lines are longer drawn by standing armies. defined by subterranean data lines, covert satellite sabotage, and engineered market panics. To defend a nation against this kind of collapse, investigators have to look past the physical borders. They must trace the invisible web connecting the isolated corners of the Earth and cut the signal at the source.